church worker steals $775,000 from the church in as little as 5 months.
God.
Heather Derray managed to defraud Christ the King Catholic Church in Tampa, Florida for $775,000. Derray had been hired as the church manager of finance and records. Derray has now pleaded guilty to stealing $775,000 from his parish operating account over a 5-month period. But this is only after she attempted, once she thought that the people were onto her, she attempted to plead to a lesser charge, but that was denied. When will these people understand that whatever is done in the dark will soon come to light?
Yes!
Don't nobody go in the bathroom for about 45 minutes.
You done fucked up, you know that, don't you?
You got knocked the fuck out!
What's happening? This is pretty unbelievable. She done all this damage, stole almost $1 million in less than 5 months, which leads me to think that Derray either came to this job, she took this job, she was plotting, already conspiring, and she took this job with the intent of stealing money, or maybe someone else in the parish had their hand in it as well, aiding this woman, Miss Derray, to do what she did. But this doesn't sound like it was just all of a sudden just an impulsive thought, maybe I could do this. She has done this in other parishes or had experience with doing this in the past. Now, when hired at the parish, all of Derray's assignments were based around finance. Derray was responsible for generating printed bank checks payable to vendors and also getting official signatures from the parish. Here's how Derray defrauded the church. Here's how it all went down. Derray would then destroy the authorized printed bank checks and prepare new handwritten checks in the same amounts as the good checks, but payable to Derray's personal account and to her creditors. This is terrible. In other words, she rerouted the money. So did she even think that maybe the people I'm rerouting this money from is going to eventually notice that they're not getting the money that they're supposed to get, and maybe they would say something? It seems to me like she should have thought this out, that this will probably be how she get caught. She did get caught, but not in this way. So according to the plea deal, Derray admitted she would create fraudulent data and enter it into the church's records to make it appear that she had mailed the printed bank checks. This sounds to me like a well thought out idea on the front end, but a terrible amateur idea on the back end.
Yes.
She should have realized, like I mentioned before, that it was only a matter of time before someone spilled the beans, before someone not getting the proper money that they're supposed to get would mention something to the parish. But it was discovered through an audit of the church's accounting software and bank accounts. It showed a loss of $775,000 in stolen funds by Derray over a 5-month window. Rather crazy. I truly believe that she wasn't the only one involved in this whole fraudulent ordeal. But you ain't gonna believe what I drop on you next. Of course, if someone puts their life in jeopardy, their future in jeopardy to steal this money, almost $1 million in such a short period of time, you knew that it had to be used for something very, very important, something dear to their heart, right? Probably not. Listen at what she spent this money on, right? Records reveal Derray used the money on expensive concerts and shows, luxury items, mortgage payments, and lavish gifts for herself and for her friends. Now, once Derray began coming to her senses and suspected the church may be onto her, she tried to admit that she did steal a little bit of money, and she tried to plead to a lesser charge, but they was onto it. They said, no, not at all. Right? And then she begged them not to report it to authorities. She begged them, please don't press charges. But the diocese issued a statement saying the church had been the victim of a complex financial crime and assured that no parishioner's personal financial information was compromised when this criminal activity took place. We are praying for healing, especially for this former employee's family, as they try to come to terms with all of this. So this was the statement from the parishioner. According to Tom Lichtenberger, oftentimes church people can't bring themselves to believe that their pastor, a church trustee, a long-term member, or a school cook at the church possibly stole money from the church. Sometimes people look at people in the church, especially the pastor, as bigger than life figures. So it's hard for them to imagine them committing these kind of crimes. Now, he goes on. Normally, it's one of the most trusted people in the church who's stealing from the collection plate or diverting funds from the church budget or investment accounts to feed their spending habits or pay personal debt. But you want to hear something else crazy? It's usually the people close to you that defile us, period. Not just in stealing from the church. It's always the ones close to you, because those are the ones who knows your habits. Those are the ones who you let your guard down around, right? Guard your energy as if your life depended on it, because your life really does depend on it. Now, Heather Derry's plea deal carries a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison, a maximum of $250,000 fine, and supervised release for up to 3 years. Derray was ordered to pay $775,000 back in restitution to the church. Now, a report was done, and it's estimated that collectively by the year 2025, by next year, there will be an estimated 80 billion, capital B, billion dollars stolen from the churches. Listen, I strongly believe that the churches need to be reformed. The church is supposed to be our safe haven. The church is where we go to convene in order to not only get resources, but to offer our resources, and collectively we help each other. But now with the church not being about God, as whatever you are, whatever's in the core of who you are, is what it's all about. And every system is a reflection of its head. And the head of these churches in most instances is the parishioner or the priest, the pastor. So if the pastor doesn't have God in the center of who they are, then they're not going to bring God in the center of the church. That's what we're seeing here. That's why I'm screaming out and crying out that we need church reform in the worst kind of way. Because here's the thing, if these things continue to happen, if we continue not to have God in the core, but to have the world at the core, or worldly values at the core, the church will deteriorate. And then where will the people receive resources and support from? Where will the people go to convene to serve God? Listen, this is a very serious issue that we need to handle right now before it gets worse. Can you imagine a world without church? Can you imagine a world without God in the center? Can you imagine a world of just lost people? Because if you don't stand for something, you fall for anything. Listen, I thank you so much for watching. You are important, you are necessary, and you are sufficient. I don't care what they told you. I don't care how they disregard you. I don't care how they shun you or make you feel like you're insignificant. You are the greatest you in the world. You got a significance about you, a fingerprint that nobody else can match. And you have a unique purpose about you that no one else can do quite like you, my friend. So never forget that you are amazing. I don't care what they say or what they do. Nobody in all the world is greater than you. So go out, my friend. I thank you all so much for watching. You go out and you be great. And more importantly, be blessed.